People would talk to her about me, almost like I was invisible. I think I knew pretty early on in my recovery that life in a wheelchair wasn't for me, and because I had the option and the choice, I was lucky enough to have the choice of using prosthetics. That was always going to be my primary mode of transport, and there are loads of reasons for that. First of all, at 24 years old, it was my ego. I didn't want to be in a wheelchair. I didn't feel comfortable in a wheelchair because I hadn't accepted back then that I was disabled. But then there were practical elements to it as well. So I couldn't access rooms in some houses where the doorways were standard, but for me they were too narrow. I didn't like the way that if my wife was out, for example, in the city centre pushing me around, people would talk to her about me, almost like I was invisible and that I wasn't there. I didn't like the way that made me feel. And also, trying to operate a wheelchair one hand is very different to operating it with two hands. So to go forward and backwards, you have to press the wheel, there are two bars on it, and then you also have to steer it left and right with the same hand. And any kind of incline put so much stress on my shoulder that I knew long term it wasn't a viable option. So I made the decision very early on that I was going to get rid of that wheelchair, and as hard as it was going to be, I was going to use my prosthetics full time and go out and reclaim as much of my independence as I possibly could.